I have been on this spirituality, self-development coaching journey for about 11 years now. And there's been so many people that I learned so many things from. And it was about 5 years ago that I developed a method for myself to increase the self-development that I was going through. At the beginning, when I started, I was reading books from everyone, everything I could find. I was gathering information everywhere. And it was knowledge from so many different perspectives that I didn't know what was true and what wasn't. YouTube is filled with information, which is awesome, but it can also work against you because one teacher might say one thing and then other people might say another. And then it's like, what is true? And so 5 years ago, I realized for myself that there are certain people who resonate with me more than others. And so I decided to just follow their teachings. I decided to look at what they do, immerse myself in their energy. It's this thing where they say that you become the average of the 5 people that you spend your most time with. And we often think that that's physically. We were talking about friends and things like that, people like that, but that's not just the case. This is also all the people that you're watching online. If you're binging content from, let's say, creators like Mr. Beast, that's one of the people that you spend your most time with. Like a video is like 20 minutes. If you watch 5 of those videos a week, that's a lot of time. In this video, I want to share the people that I have spent time with online, learning from, immersing myself in their energy for the past, 5 years? I'm sharing from 2020 to 2024 to reflect on all of my last 5 years of development. And I'd like to start with someone who honestly felt very dear to me. I've spent so much time watching his videos, and then in 2019, I believe, I learned that he passed away. And it felt like I knew him. That was the first time where I was like, this is strange. This man doesn't even know that I exist. And yet I feel sad for the fact that he's now passed away. And this man is Bob Proctor. From Bob Proctor, I learned how your thinking creates your results. Bob Proctor has infinite lessons around law of attraction, law of vibration, and he really explains that in a great way. Another person in 2020 that I learned a lot from is T. Harv Eker. And T. Harv Eker is a great coach. I remember watching all of his free webinars that he gave, and it was things about public speaking and the way that you carry yourself and the value that you create, and it was awesome, and he had great ways of speaking. I would definitely, and this goes for everyone that I'm mentioning, recommend you to check them out if you feel like they're resonating. And that is sort of the purpose of this video, to give you nuggets of people, and if any of them resonate with you, like, follow their journey. Maybe you can benefit from what they're saying, because I know I did. And so my biggest lesson from T. Harv Eker is that success isn't necessarily about working harder. It's about dealing with the beliefs that you're having right now and changing those. It doesn't mean you have to work harder, because he says you're being held back the whole time. And it's about not allowing yourself to be held back. And so it's about looking at your beliefs and changing those. Now, the third person of 2020 is John Assaraf. He is a great entrepreneur. He's great with business, and I binge watched all of his videos too. It's very much about his way of looking at the law of attraction but health wise too. Like, this man, he's mastered his mindset, and I really appreciate that about him. And what he really inspired me to do is to look at visualization. He really inspired me to visualize and to combine this with taking action. There was a lot going around in that time for me in 2020 where I learned about The Secret and things like that, which were all mental. It was all about mindset, all of this. And John Assaraf was like, no, you got to take the action as well. You got to combine your visualizations with your actions. And I thought that was very powerful. Then in 2021, the very first person that came to mind that I spent a lot of time with online was Alex Hormozi. And you probably might have heard from him. Alex Hormozi is a great entrepreneur. He owns multiple businesses all along gyms and things like that. Fitness, he's great in fitness. Alex really taught me how to deliver massive value. For him, it's really about over-delivering. You want to be able to just give people so much more than what they're paying for. And that really inspired me in my coaching, and he helped me design my offer and all of this. And one caveat there is that he said, don't expect immediate results. It's about delivering value without expecting anything in return straight away. It will come, but it takes time. If he resonates, check him out. All of the people that I'm mentioning here, I'm mentioning them below in the comments so you can check them out. They've written beautiful books. They have amazing content online. You can all check them out. I love these people. They mean a lot to me, even though they probably don't even know that I exist. The second one of 2021 does know that I exist. He was my mentor when I started my path as a spiritual life coach, Michael McIntosh. He has such an interesting way of looking at business. It's such a spiritually rooted way of seeing life. And so the biggest lesson that he taught me, presence and balance, and that creates productivity. It's better to do things presently than to do them fast. And I love that. And it might not have been something that he actually said, but this is just what I got from his teachings. And Michael has beautiful meditations. I will also link those below. This man, check him out because I learned a lot from him. And then the last person from 2021 is someone who's still very dear to me too. And this is Paulo Coelho. I have read the book, The Alchemist, without exaggeration, over 40 times by now in multiple languages, and it's beautiful. This book, the wisdom that can be found in there is incredible. And there's a quote from the book that was immediately also the biggest lesson that I learned. When you truly want something, the whole universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. It's about trusting the universe and that your path is already laid out for you. You know, Maktub, read the book, read The Alchemist. Like this is it. And if you're still watching this video, all these people that I'm talking about, all of their perspectives, I'm combining them into my own perspective. And that's what I use in my coaching. And I would definitely recommend you, whoever you're listening to, don't just take their words for truth. Don't just copy their quotes and throw them out. Make it your own. Get yourself familiar with their energies and utilize that into the world in your way. And so all of these lessons that I'm mentioning, apart from Paulo Coelho, because it's a literal quote out of his book, are lessons that I personally got out of these people. It's not their biggest thing. Like, it's not what they're known for or the way that they look at life. This is me spending a lot of time with them, drawing my own conclusions and seeing how I can interpret them. So you might find another video on the internet about someone talking about the exact same people who learn different things from them. And that's what I truly love about that. So this video also serves as, or my intention for this video is also for it to serve as a reminder for you to take all of your knowledge from yourself, be inspired by other people, but watch it resonate with yourself into your own frequency, into your own truth. That. So let's go to 2022, which is already a little bit closer to today. And one of the people that I listened to a lot was Neil Donald Walsh because of his book, Conversations with God. If you've not read that book, this is another book. I haven't read it over 40 times. I think I've read it about 10 times. It's incredible. I love this book. It's so beautiful. It's basically a book about him sitting down and having a conversation with God in his head. And it's awesome because the question that might come to you is like, how do you know it's God? Which is a question that he asks in the book too. And it's fascinating because it's a beautiful perspective. And what I love about that is that it taught me that it doesn't matter whether that's God or not, but what he's saying in the book resonates with me. And that's what it's about. And this really helped me to embody my own truth and my own perspective of life and help me coach my clients, because what I'm saying isn't necessarily the truth. It's not the magic solution for everything. But if it resonates, then does it matter whether it's true or not? Another person, and I had to look them up because I didn't know their name, but it was because of a book that I also read multiple times. I think I've read this book about 5 times, and it's the book called The Game of Life and How to Play It. And I've given it to several people as a gift, and it's written by Florence Scovel Shinn. My biggest lesson out of this book is based kind of out of the title, Life is a Game. And this book really gave me hands-on practical tips to utilize in life. And I remember reading this book multiple times and implementing straight away what was in the book, and I could see the results. Like, this is one of those books where they literally give you something to do, you do it, and the results immediately reap. And it's crazy. I love that. So if this resonates, this little nugget of Florence Scovel Shinn, then check out the book, The Game of Life and How to Play It. The third person in 2022 that I learned a lot from and that I actually spent time with physically, didn't get the chance to talk to him, but was the Dalai Lama. I was in India and I met the Dalai Lama, and it was awesome. This is one of those, it's not even on my bucket list because I didn't think that I would be able to create a reality where this would actually happen. Like, it was one of those, and it was incredible. And at the time I was in India, I read most of the Dalai Lama's books. I went to a retreat, a silent retreat after that, 7 days spending it in silence. And we were taught by the translator of the Dalai Lama, which is basically the guy with the exact same knowledge, just a different person. And this week was themed compassion. And my biggest lesson there was that compassion isn't a weakness, compassion is a strength. I have been able to look at life with so much more compassion for myself and for others. And I mean, if this resonates and if you don't know the Dalai Lama, check this out, because the wisdom in this and the beauty and the softness, it's a beautiful energy to surround yourself with. Now in 2023, which is now, 2/1 year ago, these people that I learned from, I'm still learning from every single day because they're great. And so, Paulo Coelho is still dear to me, and I watch his content a lot. Michael McIntosh still pumps up because he's my old mentor. Alex Hormozi sometimes comes by, and of course I haven't forgotten about Neil Donald Walsh or the Dalai Lama, but the focus is less there. These people over the past 2 years, the ones that I'm going to mention, the coming 6, are more present in my life. And the first one is Teal Swan. And there was something that she said that stuck with me. And I think I heard this in 2023, and that is that life is a 360-degree hologram mirror of yourself. And that has been incredibly powerful for me because it resonates as truth for me. This is what life is about. And Teal's approach to life and the way that she looks at reality and consciousness. I've been to one of her workshops, and what happens there is incredible. It is extraordinary, and I would definitely recommend everyone to check Teal out. The second person that I learned a lot from in 2023 is Rich Litvin. Rich is a coach. He is great at what he does. I think his podcast is the ones that I've listened most to in my entire life. It's because it's so super valuable. And one of the biggest lessons that I got from Rich is that it's not so much about quantity, but it's about quality, especially when you're coaching. And he taught me to focus more on the quality that I have with people in general, but also clients and friends, instead of the quantity, how many people I approach, how many people I talk to. And this was really beneficial to me. Now, there's much more that I learned from Rich, and I definitely think he's a great coach to check out, especially if you are a coach. Check Rich out because you're going to learn a lot from him. And the last one in 2023 is Dr. Wayne Dyer. You might have heard from him, but his conscious approach to life is so inspiring to me. I really, really like the way that he sees the world, and it's beautiful what he does and the way that he goes after his dreams, and he's so humble. And so I wrote down the biggest lesson, and it is when you summon the courage and heed that inner calling, listen to that infinite intelligence within, that's when your life begins to have purpose. And that's really what Wayne Dyer inspired me to do, is very much listening to myself, to my inner intuition, and to let myself be guided by life. I had to write down this lesson because it's not fully ingrained within me. Like, these are his words. But what I love about him and surrounding myself with him online, he doesn't know I exist, I think, is the energy that it rubbed off on me. It made me peaceful. Look him up and see how you feel when you listen to his content. And maybe you get triggered, maybe something else happens for you. But for me, I feel a big sense of peace and rest. And I love that. I really am thankful to him for this. And then 2024, the biggest 3 teachers, and I don't want to come across as bragging here, but the first biggest teacher of 2024 was myself. I really have learned this year that I can listen to all of these people that I just mentioned, and I can utilize all of their approaches to life and their perspectives and their quotes and all of their wisdom. But that's not what it's about, because my truth, my wisdom is in here too. And so this year I've really spent a lot of time listening to myself, being guided by myself, my highest excitement. And that really feels good. And so I've made this deal with myself, and I had this deal 2 years ago already, where I would only read a maximum of 5 books each year. 3 self-development books, 2 extra self-development books to sort of check things out. But those 3 were constant, and I wasn't allowed to pick up any other ones than the 3. Then I was allowed 2 books that were self-development books, but I wasn't allowed to read them again. So just a once-time thing. And apart from that, yeah, I can read as much fantasy or whatever as I want. I just don't. But these 3 self-help books have been amazing. And I've done that because I didn't want to surround myself with other types of energies. I wanted to integrate everything that I was reading. And so I read The Alchemist a lot of times. And so I read The Game of Life and How to Play It many times. So I read Conversations with God many times because I wanted to integrate everything that was being said. And I love that. And it reminds me of this quote of Oscar Wilde, where he's like, if a book is not worth reading a second time, why read it the first time? And I like that. I like that approach. And I feel that for me, it's very much about not confusing myself with different perspectives, so that I only have these 3 different perspectives that really resonate with me out of these 3 books, and then get to focus on my own perspective and my own truth to life. Enough about that. Second teacher that I learned a lot from last year was Daryl Anka, who channels Bashar. Now, the biggest lesson from him is follow your excitement. If you don't know Bashar, he basically, so he claims to be, is an extraterrestrial who is a incarnation of Daryl Anka in the future of Earth, like I think 300 years from now, time traveling back and making contact with us right now. And it's very interesting. I love this esoteric stuff. I really love it. And that's why I love Bashar. The hours of content that I've watched listening to Bashar is insane. And I utilize a lot of what he does in his coaching. And a big part of my coaching approach is to follow your excitement. I believe that everyone should. I believe that it's the best choice that you can make for yourself. You do whatever, there's no should. And then the last teacher, or teachers in a way, are the people from the community phase 2, Sam Rossi, Andre Pickens, and Mandy Little. These people created a community around basically doing whatever the fuck you want. And I love that. It's such a freeing thing. One of their perspectives that I resonate a lot with is that they say that you create everything. And I knew that. But what they made me aware of is that that also means that I create my own problems. Why? Because I like them. And that was such a, I couldn't accept that fact. And that's when I knew, this might be a direction that I want to go into. Because if I know and believe that I truly create my whole experience, my entire experience, then it also means that I got to take responsibility for creating the stuff that I say that I don't want. And so they really taught me that manifestation is not so much about creating things, because we're constantly creating things. Manifestation is also about taking responsibility of what you create, and thereby teaching yourself, or basically remembering that, right, I apparently wanted to manifest these things. Even though I consciously say I don't want them, somewhere deep down I wanted them. And this has been immensely helpful for my shadow work. These are the people that I have surrounded myself with in the past 5 years. And I very much want to encourage you through this video to do the same thing. Pick a handful of people that inspire you, whose frequency you truly admire, and surround yourself with these people, because it can truly be life-changing.